What is going on, YouTube? Just
What is going on YouTube?
giving some people some time to jump on. I apologize. I made the link. I need to stop doing this. It's happened twice to me now. I'll make the link on on my phone, and so it'll only let me will do like I'll make like the schedule of the event on my phone. Then it'll only let me do it on my phone. So it's kind of been an ongoing issue that I've been having, where I just need to do it from my computer first. So if you're on, say hi in the comments. I'll say hi back. We'll get started here in a little bit. Let people get on. If you can hear me, also give me a thumbs up or say we can hear you in the comments. Okay. Oh, wait. I got this nice tumbler water bottle thing. And we'll get started. I had every intention of doing all this in OBS with showing you the websites and stuff, but for some reason, it's giving me a massive issue. I don't know why. So it's not a big deal. Okay, just make sure the chat is working on my end. I'm going to say hi to myself from my other YouTube channel just to make sure it's working. And on my tablet that I have right here, the sound was working, but just let me know if the sound's working. Tag a few people, and then we'll get this thing started. If you have questions about Washington Commanders, go ahead and put them in the comment section down below as well. All right. Let's give it a couple more minutes for everyone. Let me get started. My wife's actually out of town. This is why I was able to do this tonight. What's up, Jay? What's going on, man? How you doing? It's been a minute, man. All right. All right. And I'm just tagging a few people in the post. Absolutely, man. It's a long season. I don't know if you've watched my videos, but I like mid-season had a baby. I've also been got transferred to a store that's very far away from my house, so a lot of travel time. And I'm the only worker in the house right now. My wife doesn't work, so gotta take care of all of it by myself. It is what it is, though. As you can see, there's baby. You can't see it, but back in the corner, right back here, like back where my arm is, right here. There's actually a baby seat right there. You see the blankets right here. You can probably see my daughter's princess thing right there. So the Mario one's mine. I'll take credit for that. But the rest of the stuff, there's a lot of my daughter's stuff in here. There's actually, you probably see like her trainer toilet right there. So yeah, so I had a kid, and I got a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. So a lot of time consuming, and I've kind of been focusing a little bit more on my gaming channel because I can do that a little easier at 2 in the morning or 5 in the morning and stuff than this is. I hope to get back into this more. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it, man. To gorgeous little baby girl, gorgeous little girls, and let's see if I have my profile picture. I don't know how well it's going to look on camera. But there is Annabeth and Jaden. Annabeth's the older one. Jaden's the little baby. Annabeth's tall, by the way. And my child, that child was before she turned 2, she was 3 feet tall. That girl was 3 feet tall at about 20 months. So I hope she becomes tall because I love basketball. I used to coach basketball. So I hope she gets tall, at least tall enough to be an effective basketball player. Give it about what's that? About 5 more minutes. Get some more people jump on. If you know some people, Jay, just tell them to come on, ask some Washington Commander stuff. So a little bit on the docket for what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about Washington Commanders, how the season went, how the offseason should go, what I think they should do going forward. That's just my personal opinion. And also a couple some things like their draft, what you should do in the draft, what you should do in free agency, who they should cut, who they should sign. I actually had a full-on plan, like I had it like built out in OBS. But for some reason, whenever I tried to upload the stream and show it, it wouldn't let me do it, and I was getting pressed for time. So I was like, screw it. I can just talk over those things and let people ask questions while I'm kind of explaining it. So is that the camera doing that? Okay. So like I said, a couple more minutes. And like I said, don't know if you were on when I showed this, but actually one of my employees at my store, so I'm a manager for Comcast. One of my employees saw this. I live in, this is Pittsburgh, and this is actually upper Pittsburgh, probably as north as you can get from like between Pittsburgh and Erie. And one of my reps found this in a store near them. Don't know how, don't know why, but one of my reps found it. He's like, I had to buy that for you because you'll never see another one in Pittsburgh. I'm like, you're not wrong. Never see Washington Commander stuff in Pittsburgh. All right. It's only two on, and I think one of them's mine. That is true, Jason. Welcome on, buddy. Thanks for jumping on. Lost a lot of weight too. It's an update. Like by this time last year, it was around probably close to 300, about 260 right now. Probably because a lot of water. I just fill this up with water. I drink probably 2 gallons of water a day now. And trust me, that was not the case. I used to drink so much soda. So much soda. Hold the camera just a smidge. There we go. I'll show a little bit of the room, I guess, since you guys are on. So, like right here, is my Sean Taylor shirt. It's gonna look backwards on the camera, but it's Sean Taylor towel, not shirt. I'm sorry. And then we have this was sent to me by another Washington Commander fan for the I think it was for the Sonny Jurgensen retirement. So yeah, this is my nerd room. Much I like football, I'm just as big a nerd. So I think I'm going to change the chat settings real quick if I can. All right, got about another 2 minutes, and then I'm going to get started. If you're on, say hi. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. I'm about to get started here in a minute. Got 4 people on. I had 5. Now we have 4. Someone jumped off. All right. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to have 1 more minute, and we're actually going to get started with this. Jay already said hi. Oh, man. Hi back. Hi again. Ooh, someone give me a thumbs up. I like that. Like I said, at any given time, you can ask questions in the comment section. I may answer them immediately. It may take a second, but it's gonna be it'll be answered one way or another. It may, if it's pertaining to what I'm talking to at the time, I'll answer it immediately. If not, I'll circle back to it and answer it. Make sure they're kind of concise questions. I had one stream where someone would just like say a name with a question mark after it, and I'm like, what is this question you're asking me? A little bit of preciseness would be great on my end. That way there's no live on air confusion. All right, it is 10 after, so I'm gonna get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of a recap of this season. We went 8 8-1, not the ideal season that the Washington Commanders, or that not the ideal season that I wanted for sure. I thought we'd at least win 10 games. And I actually think with like ball bounce here and there, or just a personnel decision here and there, we probably would have won 10 games. I think we could have won 10, even with the situations we had. Taylor Heineke was perfectly capable of winning the 2 Giants games, and we shouldn't have lost the Titans. So there's a handful of games right there that we shouldn't have lost, but we did. And we always have those games where, if we can go back in time and just make one little tweak here or there, we could win. So I still think this was a 10-win team. We didn't accomplish that, obviously, but still think it's a 10-win team. I don't like the tie. The tie was stupid because now we can say, oh, we won one more than last year, and that sucks. But we did. We did win one more than last year. I do think we took steps back, though. The roster took steps back in some ways. The biggest, one of the biggest things we did last year that really wrecked us was we traded for Carson Wentz. I said whenever the trade happened that I was not happy with both the draft capital and paying him $28 million last season. I would have been okay with the draft capital and like the Colts take care of like half his salary or like a third or something. That way we can actually put a decent team around him. I was not happy with, but I've been happy with one or the other. If we kept our draft picks and paid him $28 million, I've been fine with that. If we, if he was a free agent or something, if we, gave away 2 picks, but didn't have to pay him $28 million and maybe only pay 10 of the $28 million because we're taking them off Colts hands, something like that would have been a better solution in my opinion. In doing so, getting Carson Wentz, we had to pay him $28 million last year. This year, this 2022 season. And that in turn made it so we could not re-sign a lot of our offensive linemen. Our offensive line was one of our strengths in 2021 season. And it wasn't our strength last year. In my mind, if we'd have just stuck with Taylor Heineke and invested that $28 million into the offensive line, probably would have won 11 games. And I know a lot of people don't like Taylor Heineke that much, but Taylor Heineke, I mean, we got the 8 wins and the offensive line was bad, and we basically had $28 million just burnt. Didn't use it, wasn't any good players. Carson Wentz was not what we thought. And honestly, and a lot of people may not like this comment, I don't think we really got to see what we could have been with Carson Wentz because of a couple other factors like the offensive line, injuries, things like that. And I can get into that a little bit later. But I really feel the 2022 season was kind of what what Ron said when he got hired is he wants to build the team and then drop a quarterback in. Okay, so and I guess now I can reflect back and agree with people that say it was a panic move. Maybe in a panic move, we traded for a quarterback, overpaid that quarterback, or didn't negotiate to have less money owed to that quarterback, and in doing so, we already had to gut offensive line. We didn't resign Sheriff. We at least could have resigned Flowers. At least that would be one person to resign or not cut. But we couldn't replace them with quality replacements. Andrew Norwell, we thought a lot of us thought Andrew Norwell, it's a valid, it's an okay replacement. Wasn't. Trey Turner wasn't a valid replacement for the production out of those 2 guys. And so I just don't think that we replaced it very well. And I think that was what cost us the season, is not having an extra $28 million to invest in the offensive line, which is why leading into this season, I think the offensive line is a priority for this season. So last year, our defense, I have nothing bad to say about Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio was not playing with probably his best defensive player, which is Chase Young, for most of the year, except for the last 3 games. He had linebackers. His linebackers were very inconsistent and very thin. He had to play with John Bostic and David Mayo a lot. He didn't have his 2 guys he came into the season with that were supposed to be the guys, which was Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb. Those were his 2 guys, and Cole Holcomb was injured half the season. So he had to put together a makeshift defense using more safeties, more corners, using 3 safeties and one playing like a slot. He had to get creative with it. And as soon as we got William Jackson III out of the lineup, we got better defensively. There's no argument to that. We got better defensively, and with Cameron Curl, Derek Forrest ascended. I did say last year we didn't go after a safety in free agency last year, and a lot of people were panicking, why are we not going after a free agent in free agency this year, or safety in free agency? And I was like, maybe Ron just trusts his guys and his judgment, because we never got to see Derek Forrest his rookie year. He was kind of hurt. So we never really got to see him. So that might be why. And honestly, I think it paid out. I think the only thing the defense really needs, like really needs, they don't really, if they put the same defense out, I think it would be okay as long as we're healthy. But I think what the defense could use this offseason is maybe getting an extra linebacker or two. I would say sign one and draft one, and then getting a shutdown corner in the draft. I would invest a first round pick on that, assuming that you can do the other thing I want to do with the offensive line. But if I had to look at the weakness of the team was definitely the offense, and the offense just could not put up points other than a couple games here and there. My opinion on this, and if you watch other Washington YouTubers, you might have heard their opinion. And this is one I've heard, that it boils down to three different things: the Washington Commanders O-line, quarterback, and coordinator are where a lot of the blame gets thrown. So I'm going to give my opinion on this. You may disagree. Comment down below. Darnell, I agree with you. We should not let Chase Young go after this upcoming season. We should take his fifth-year option. And, maybe the injury does have a long-term effect. I don't think so. I think he played great the last 3 games. So what was I talking about? Back on track here. So everyone says that the 3 things that cost us this season offensively, why the offseason was why the offense was so bad, is offensive line, quarterback play, and the coordinator. Now, a lot of people say that the firing of Scott Turner wasn't like warranted. I think it's 100. He should have been fired last year, honestly. I don't like him as a coordinator, and I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. But I'm going to go over, if you have a bad offensive line, I give like 5% of the blame to the offensive line. If you have a bad offensive line, they can't just wake up one day and decide to be good. Either they're lacking talent, they're lacking strength, or something. Okay, so they're only going to be able to play to a certain degree anyway. And so what's going to help them is play calling, quarterback play. So the other 2 parts are way more weighted than the offensive line ever is to me, because you can call plays to compensate for the offensive line. Boss Brothers, a little bit. He is a little bit smaller, but the offensive line is kind of, it plays off of the other 2 parts more, and it can only play to a certain extent of how good it can play. The offensive line is only as good as some of its pieces. Plus, you have like 5 different pieces working together. Way more variables there. You can scheme. If you have a not great offensive line, you can scheme to compensate for some things. You can't scheme as much to compensate for other things, but you can scheme to fix to mask or whatever the deficiencies of your offensive line. Okay. So I give about 5% blame, maybe as much as 10 to the offensive line. Quarterback play, I give about 15 to 20%. And the reason why that is if your offensive line's not good, one, you're not going to be, we have quarterbacks getting hit and running for their life on like a 7-step drop, and they didn't get to the 7th step. So that you're not going to, no quarterback will succeed in that situation. Okay. No quarterback's going to succeed. This is why I said the statement earlier. Really don't know what we could have had Carson Wentz, because we couldn't keep him upright. And I don't think play calling helped him out at all. And so play call, or the offensive, the quarterback play, quarterback play to me is I do give it about 15 to 20%, at most 20% at most, because quarterback, like I said, is limited to its talents. He can do a lot of things. Maybe they were restricted. I don't know if Scott Turner allows them to call audibles a lot or not, but I don't see that. But I think the quarterback was restricted, and it's definitely restricted with Scott Turner's offense. And now I'm going to get to Scott Turner. Scott Turner does not understand rhythm of like football, like rhythm in football. He does not understand rhythm in football. Darnell, man, I am 100% on the Samuel Howell. I'm a howler. I swear I am. That's why, not Howlinians. I've been hearing that all over the YouTubes and on the Twitters. I'm a howler. Let's be howlers. I 100% am on board with this guy. I'll get to more about him in a little bit for sure, but I want to talk about Scott Turner. Scott Turner does not understand like momentum, rhythm, and how you play off of plays. You run plays to set up other plays. I don't think he understands why you run the ball. Because when you run the ball effective, you can pass the ball effective. You can play action. When you run the ball effective, the defense creeps. If you can pass the ball effective, you can play action. When you run the ball effective, the defense creeps up, and that gets you the bombs. Okay, Scott Turner does not understand that. He did not understand that at all. Whenever it came to running plays, he would just call plays that made him look smart. Like, oh, look how creative I am. It was no, I don't think there's ever a plan. And a lot of players even said there was never a plan, or he always deviated from the plan to try to look smart. That's what a lot of the players have said in individual interviews, some anonymous and some straight up. Logan Thomas said straight up, like he deviated from the play calling a lot. The plan was run the ball, play action, and he'll just call shotgun, 3-step drop, 5 receivers. Okay. The offensive coordinator, if the offensive line sucks, here's what you can do. You can run draws. You can run screens. You can run play action. Okay. You can have 2 tight end sets to help to have an extra blocker in chip and release. You can run a running back. You can have a running back chip as well. You can do things to help mask that. You can also run faster to get the ball out, quick plays, like fast passing plays or quick passing plays. If you watch the Jacksonville game, I'll give a prime example of how this worked. The Jacksonville game, Carson Wentz was not under pressure very often. And the reason why is the ball got out within like 2 seconds. 3-yard out, 2-yard slants, 5-yard ends, really quick. Okay. And what happened? The Jacksonville Jaguars started creeping up. And then what happened in the second half? 2 bomb touchdowns, long touchdown passes. And then we get to the next game, and Scott Turner completely ignores what he had just done against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he just wants to get these deep passes. He kept having 7-step drops, deep drops, and Carson Wentz just kept getting sacked, and there was no time to throw the ball. The play had not developed yet. When you throw the ball deep, you have to take time to develop the play, and that just was not the case. The plays were not developed, and also he doesn't make adjustments really well. So after you have a 3-and-out, you can go over to the sideline and adjust immediately. They literally have the tablets on them that show them exactly what the offense was doing or defense was doing, and you can adjust immediately on the fly. Really good teams do this possession by possession, not half by half. And no changes were made in that Lions game till the second half. And that's why in the second half, if you watch the game, the offense started rolling. And if our defense would have just benched William Jackson III, we'd have had a chance to maybe come back and win that game. That game really frustrates me because a guy literally caught the ball, sat on his ass, then got up and ran for a touchdown untouched. So that really, really frustrates me. But so Scott Turner of all the 3 pieces, offensive line, quarterback, and coordinator, he has the most power to make the most changes to mask the deficiencies of the other 2. Offensive line doesn't have the ability to do much more than just play their best, but if they're limited talent-wise, what are you going to do? Okay. Quarterback has a little bit more of that flexibility, but if you're taking a 3-step or 7-step drop and you're getting hit on the 5th step, you're not going to do anything as a quarterback. Okay. Everyone remembers Tom Brady and the Patriots going undefeated, and then the Super Bowl, he's getting sacked so much it didn't matter how great his receivers were if he was getting sacked before he even got a chance to get to the top of his drop. Okay. Mike Tyson once said, he says, like, everyone's got a plan until they get hit. Okay. Same thing. You can take a quarterback out of a game. We're going to see Super Bowl tomorrow. We're going to see who's going to do the better job of taking the quarterback out of the game. So that's what I think of, like, the offense. I think that's what the issue was with the offense. And everyone freaked out whenever they said they want to run like a 2-to-1 running the passing ratio. Guys, we did not sign Terry McLaurin to a $70+ million deal. We didn't sign Curtis Samuel to that. For a good amount of money, and then sign or draft Jahan Dotson in the first round to run the ball 66% of the time. It's not going to happen. Okay, we're not going to. That's not the strategy here. We're going to pass the ball, and yeah, they might want to do that when we're up because we want to have a dominant running game, just run out the clock and win the game. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But we're definitely not going to go the route of running 2-to-1 run the pass. It's just not going to happen. We have way too much money invested in that position. And if you look at our tight ends, we actually have a decent amount of tight ends as well. So we have too much draft capital, financial capital, time, whatever you want to call it, invested in the actual receiving position to say, oh, we're going to run the ball 50 times a game or 40 times a game, whatever it is. So I don't think that's a possibility. I don't. Maybe it is, but I just think they were just. I think they were prisoners of the moment, and the most recent moment was a win where we threw the ball 19 times and ran the ball like 40 times and beat the crap out of the Cowboys. So I think that's more or less what it was. They were just prisoners of that moment and maybe placating to some fans who maybe saw that and were like, "Oh yeah, that sounds great." No, they're going to pass the ball. And now I'll get to uh, what we should do this offseason. Well, first off, I am all in on Sam Howell. Sam Howell was, if he'd have came out in the 2021 draft, he would have been he'd have been a first rounder. So let's not kid ourselves. And just because he had a down year, listen, the talent around him was not very good. And in college, that does matter. Do you know how much we get in cap? Can we keep Payne and Sims? I'm actually am going to talk about the cap space. So that is something I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. So I'm all in on Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell is legit. I think he's exactly what we needed. He is the perfect combination of the two quarterbacks we had this year. We had one quarterback that had a hell of an arm, not the most accurate, and not very mobile in the pocket. He's kind of like a statue. I think Carson Wentz is a little more athletic than people give him credit for, but he's not like shifty. He's just big and he's big and strong, so that's where his athleticism comes in. But he's not like a mobile guy. He's not going to run for 20 yards consistently or anything like that. He's not like a William Jackson or Lamar Jackson or a Jalen Hurts. He's not like that. He's not that kind of runner. He's big and strong and he can run because he's athletic, but he's not like your normal typical running quarterback. He's kind of like a Josh Allen more or less, but Josh Allen's a little bit more athletic. Um, and then you have Taylor Heineke, who is mobile. That's another thing about Scott Turner, by the way. Why was Taylor Heineke never put in RPOs? Was rarely, maybe 4 times I remember. Should have been put in RPOs all the time. Everyone can look and see that there's a team in Super Bowl right now that is running the RPO, I would say almost to perfection. And we beat that team, by the way. They run that RPO to perfection, and somehow we can't try to implement anything close to that. So that just, to me, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, but it's the best combination of both of those players. He's got the speed and agility, and actually, I think he's got some trucking abilities. I think he's a built dude. Like, apparently, him and like William Jackson, or not William Jackson, Robinson. Him and Robinson are like the same size, like weight wise, height wise, everything. They're like same size. They're built guys. So I'm all in on Sam Howell. The first thing I think we should do, and this is where I was going to bring up the cap space. So I'm clicking out of this link. Let me make sure that just let me know if it's still playing. I'm clicked out of this link on a browser. So the first thing we need to do is we need to cut Carson Wentz. We cut Carson Wentz. That'll get Washington $26 million out of the cap space. So right now, before doing that, Washington is sitting at $8.352 million in cap space. It's not really a lot. But if we cut Carson Wentz, that will add $26 million to the cap space. Okay. So that's the first thing. So that's the first thing I think we should do. The second thing I think we should do. So if you look at the cap here, so our highest contracts are like the next one's Terry McLaurin's the next highest contract. If you're going down the list here, I actually think Chase Roullier would be a good candidate to get cut. I know a lot of people are gonna say, but he's a Pro Bowler, or he's like an All Pro, whatever. I honestly don't care. I think he's not very good. I don't think he's good. Let me rephrase that. He's a good offensive lineman. Okay, but the problem with him is, I'm moving that over there real quick. I'm moving my thing over to. I got 2 screens going. Very good. The problem with Carson Wentz, the problem with Chase Roullier, he just can't stay healthy. So rather than deal with him being unhealthy all the time, you know what? We were very good this year with Tyler Larson. We won 5 out of 6 games that he started, and in the 6th game we tied, I think is what it was. So I'm completely comfortable going with Tyler Larson. Give him a decent contract. You don't have to give him like anywhere near close to like what Chase Roullier was making. Give him a good contract. He'll make some decent money, and then we can move forward with him, and we can save. If you cut Chase Roulier after January or June 1st, you can save $8 million. You can add $8 more million to the salary cap. So yeah, that's the goal. That would be my goal there. Now, if you look down through this some more, there's Kendall Fuller. I don't want to cut Kendall Fuller. I think Kendall Fuller is just fine. Leave Kendall Fuller where he is. I'm fine with it. Montez Sweat, keep him. Terry McLaurin, obviously going to keep him. Chase Young. Now, Logan Thomas is an interesting one. If Logan Thomas is cut, let me do that. If Logan Thomas is cut, we save $3.5 million. Now, this one I'm borderline because you're offsetting a little bit of money. It's not a lot of money. It's a little bit of money. Just like the next one, Bobby McCain, you're offsetting a little bit of money. If you cut him, you're only saving about $2.8 million out of his total $5 million owed this year. So there's not a lot more guys that I really think that we need to be looking at the cut. Maybe like Cornelius Lucas, but Cornelius Lucas is actually a pretty solid depth piece. He's not a starter, so you don't have to worry about that. But I'm trying to look at anyone else in here that you can cut, or about $1 million if you cut him. He might just retire and save us $3 million anyway because he's got a neck injury. Now, there's a player in here that we're going to try to resign, which I think we should resign. It's Cameron Curl, and I'll get to that here in a little bit. I'm just looking through to see if there's any more contracts that we got to cut someone to save some more money. There's not much more you can do to save money, not with this team. I don't think our team is like head and shoulders like bad or anything like that. So the only one I could think of is maybe you want to go Charles Leno, but I don't think that's smart. It does give you $8 million more in the cap space, but you got to pay him $4.5 million to not play for you, basically. So I don't think so, and I think Charles Leno Jr. would be better at right tackle anyway. So I think that's what you should do with him. And then Cornelius Lucas, like I said, is a good backup. Andrew Norwell would be one I would cut just on principle because I think he's bad. He's not very good. Is there any questions in the comment? Cole Turner is good when healthy. Cole Turner is very good when healthy. We have good tight ends. We have Cole Turner. We have John Bates, and we have who's that rookie we had? Not Ricky Seals Jones. I gotta think of his name here in a minute. I'll find it here in a second. I have the roster right in front of me. So we could cut Andrew Norwell. Andrew Norwell will save us about $5 million. 4.38 thinks what it will save us if it's a post June 6th cut. So we cut him. I think we should cut him because I think Chris Paul did a very good job. If I'm being honest, I think Chris Paul did it. And then Curtis Hodges, that's on the roster as well. Amani Rogers, that's who it is. So I think Amani Rogers is pretty solid. Curtis Hodges isn't bad. Cole Turner isn't bad, like we were talking about. And then John Bates. So there's a bunch. And like I said, get rid of Andrew Norwell and push Chris Paul up to that. He played great against Dallas. Give him a chance. Let's give him a chance to play. But other than that, like that's who I think we should cut. So if Washington makes the cuts that I suggested, Andrew Norwell, Chase Roulier, and then obviously we want to cut Carson Wentz. Okay. That'll put Washington and get us up to about $47 million. I'm sure there's some cuts, like maybe if you cut Logan Thomas. So let's just say we cut Logan Thomas. Another $5 million to put us at $52 million. And then apparently J.D. McKissick, let's just say post. Does that do anything better? So if you do a post June 1st, a lot of these are post June 1st cuts. If you do a post June 1st cut on JD, you don't see this right now, but I have Spot Track up. With Spot Track projects what players cost. So, for example, they've actually changed this recently. There was I don't know if it was Spot Track or another one, but there was a website that was up that the cost of Drawn Payne was only like $14.5 million on this website. Now, if you look at the cost of Drawn Payne, which I'm going to find it real quick. Let me look for position. Give me 1 second here. Appreciate your patience. Defensive tackle update. So, like, what I want to do this offseason is I want to go offensive line via free agency. I do not want to be drafting offensive linemen. So if you go to Drawn Payne and the market value for him right now is saying Oh, it's loading. It's loading. There's a lot of things going on right now on this computer. Right now, it's saying 19.4 million. And the reason why I think it says that is that might be the amount for if we decided to franchise tag him. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it's that high. I don't think 19.5 million, 19.4 million is. I don't think it's unfair. I just don't. That would rank him the fourth highest paid defensive tackle in the league. I'm comfortable with about 16.5 million. That's what I would offer him. I'd give him a lot more guaranteed money. He balled out this year. We wouldn't really be in this spot if we pick up his fifth option, but we didn't. So, yeah, I think Washington would be great if Washington could re-sign him. If we have to go to 19.5, so be it, because apparently there's a lot of rumors that Dallas is interested in signing him, and I do not want him to go to Dallas. If we have to pay him 19.5 million, we can pay him 19.5 million. So if we're paying him 19.5 million, let me just go back to now it's frozen. Okay, it's not frozen. Okay. So if we have $55 million and we pay him 19.5, let me get out my handy dandy calculator here. I'm not going to do it on the computer because that's just going to be a pain in the butt. So let me just do it this way. All right. I got a friend of mine messaging me comments. Okay, cool. So 55 million minus 19.5. So after 19.5 million spent on Drawn Payne this season, that leaves us with 35.5 million. I think you resign Cameron Curl. Cameron Curl, he's not going to get 20 million like his dad thinks. His dad thinks he should get $20 million a year. He's not going to. As much as I like Cameron Curl, you got the best safeties in the league not making that much. And let's call him what he is. I like Cameron Curl and he plays well, and I want him on the team. But he is essentially a box safety. Okay, he's a better version of what Landon Collins was. Okay, he's a way better version of what Landon Collins was because he gets everyone else in their position a lot better than Landon Collins did, and he plays better than Landon Collins did. At a much better value. But I think he has earned a good contract. So I think you should pay him I think he should get $12 million a year. Okay. So that leaves you at $23.5 million. So at $23.5 million, we have to find a way to mitigate the rest of the deficiencies in this roster. Okay. It's about $24 million what we got. So if you look at what's available in free agency, I think we need three positions this offseason that are dire. And I think my friend had a question. So, Mike, if you can hear me, you can message me the question you have. It's fine. Okay, I heard you, Mike. So if you're listening to me now, I got your message. I heard you. If you need a message, a question, because your phone won't let you, you're more than welcome to message me on here. It's perfectly fine. All right. So, what does Washington needs? One, the primary concern for this offseason, if we don't get anything else accomplished, it is to fix our offensive line. And I have the perfect fix. First off, we re-sign Tyler Larson. I think Tyler Larson will take probably about 3 or 4 million. Let's just say it takes about 4 million. So now we're at $20 million. Okay. So Tyler Larson's your center. You get Chris Paul. You already have Chris Paul. Take Chris Paul and put him at guard. Okay. Put him at left guard. Then you take Samuel Cosman, you put him at right guard. Move Charles Leno to right tackle. And then you're going to go out in free agency and you're going to find yourself a left tackle in free agency. So let's see what's available. There is one that's right up there on the top of the list. And if you got to make more space to pay him, if you can pay him, if you can find a way to pay him, get him. And that is Orlando Brown Jr. Orlando Brown Jr. is the guy. If you have the money, if you have the ability to get him in any way, shape, or form, if you can move heaven and earth, get him on the roster. He will, and pay him a lot of money to do it. He's a good player. He will get the job done. He's going to be coming off a Super Bowl year. He might be a Super Bowl champ, two-time Super Bowl champ after this. So he's coming off a Bowl year. He's going to be in the Super Bowl this year. There's no way the Chiefs can afford him. He's going to go somewhere other than the Chiefs. Washington, throw as much money as you can. Move money from other seasons to pay him to come here. Do it. That is the guy. The only other option I see on here, there's 5 free agent left tackles right now. Another one's Eric Fisher. Now, Eric Fisher is about 6 years older than Orlando Brown. And and there's also Kelvin Batcham, which I don't know how good or bad he's been, but I don't think Eric Fisher is really all that great. So I'm not gonna I wouldn't push for him to come back or to get him. The one I would be most concerned about, I'm gonna check the how much Kelvin Beecham is, but I would put all my eggs in the basket getting Orlando Brown to come to this team. That would fix our left tackle spot so fast. We would solve that problem quick, fast, in a hurry. And now our offensive line is solidified with a good left tackle. He's going to have a young right guard next to him that's going to be he's going to be able to mentor. If I'm having problems with my camera or anything, please let me know. I have it actually streaming on my tablet just so I can kind of read the chats a little quicker. But if I'm having issues, just let me know in the comments, okay? Orlando Brown at left tackle, left guard, Chris Brown. You have Larson, who played great whenever he played last year. You have Chris Paul Cosme at right guard, Charles Leno at right tackle. I think that fixes your offensive line. As much as I like Cosme. Cosme is a better at playing guard than he is playing tackle. That fixes your offensive line. Now in the draft, I do think we need to draft some depth, but that fixes our offensive line issue. We no longer have these two old guards, Trey Turner and Norwell, who can't pull to save their lives, that can't be out in open space to run screens. You get that out of there. You got two young guys that can pull very easily, and you got one of probably one of the best, if not the best, left tackle in the league in the game right now to protect the blind side of your quarterback. I think that fixes your offensive line in one fell swoop. Well, two swoops. You sign Tyler Larson, and then you sign Orlando Brown. Now, is there a possibility that may not happen? Sure, Orlando Brown's going to be a hot commodity. Some teams may have more money to give him than us. So that's one scenario. We sign him, and then we draft first round. We draft the corner. That's what I would do. First round draft a shutdown corner that's going to replace Kendall Fuller next year when his contract expires. And heck, we might sign Kendall Fuller back, but not to no big deal like he has now. So the top free agent corner on the market right now, it's a couple of them, but one of them is Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters, it says on here, and this is what it says. I'm going off what it says, is not what I think he's worth. He may be worth more than this, he may be worth less than this. But right now it says Marcus Peters is worth $10 million right now. Okay. So if we went the route of we want to draft an offensive lineman and we want to go the route of corner, we can still draft this. We can still sign Larson as center for about $4 million. So that leaves us about $20 million left. We can sign Marcus Peters. Okay. We can sign Marcus Peters. That'll give us a very good corner that we can add to our pieces. Now, I don't know what kind of coverage he does. Is it? I think the Eagles or the Ravens play a lot of zone. I think, but he's the best available right now. He's only 30 years old, so he's a little bit older, but he's not too old in my opinion. But that he's the best on the market right now. So you got some others. You got James Bradbury, which I'm not sure if I want him, but he's going to be a free agent from Philly. You also got Jonathan Jones. There's a couple out here. There might be a diamond in here. Actually, what's his name? Ron likes to find gems. So maybe that would be the Emmanuel Mosley. Let's see what Emmanuel Mosley would cost, because he's actually I like getting younger guys that are just off the rookie deal, because you can probably get the most out of them for long. You're not really overpaying for them. You still got prime. Emmanuel Mosley says it's going to be $16.6 million. So let's say you want to go sign Emmanuel Mosley, $16.6 million. You have $4 million left to wiggle with before you got to go draft an offensive lineman. I would rather sign an offensive lineman that's really good, has a body of work we know is going to work, and then go get a corner, because we have corners right now. We can survive without a corner. We can't survive without left tackle. You can't put all your eggs in the Sam Howell basket and then not protect them. Okay, you did that last year by putting all your eggs in the Carson Wentz basket and then didn't have an offensive line capable of keeping them upright. Okay, so I think it'd be a horrible decision for Washington to. Let me rephrase that. I don't think it'd be a horrible decision to draft an offensive lineman first round, but get the sure thing. If Orlando Brown is available and he will come here for top dollar and we can afford it, get Orlando Brown here. We can draft the other things that we need. We need left tackle. I've already said that, left tackle. We also need cornerback and linebacker. Those are the three things we need. We can literally sign a left tackle. Let's just say in the world of the best possibility we could ever ask for as a franchise. We sign Orlando Brown. Okay, left tackle's taken care of. We do the adjustments that I suggested. Okay, and I think they're the right adjustments, but you might have a different opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below what you would do. And then you draft a top flight corner in the draft. There's some really good ones. I'm gonna do. Actually, I plan to do a little quick mock draft, but like I said, OBS was not cooperating with me today. So that would be the next route I go is a corner in the first round. In the second and third round, I'd actually try to trade back if I could in the first round, to be honest, and try to get some more draft capital. But I think what you draft is you draft a corner in the first round, and then you draft the next pick has to be a linebacker. You have to get a linebacker in the next round. You have to add some depth to the linebacking group. What's his name? Jack Del Rio did a great job masking the linebacker deficiencies. But we just got to get some decent linebackers. Decent linebackers for this team. If you are a decent linebacker, you're going to be a great linebacker with this team. With this offense, with this defensive line and the depth it has, guys, I don't know if you know this or not. We get Deron Payne signed. That means we're starting John Allen, Chase Young, Deron Payne, and we're also starting Montez Sweat. We're also backing them up with Fredarius Mathis, with Ridgeway. That's two solid backups. They could probably start on other teams. Okay, if Ridgeway makes it to, we would put him on practice squad for like a day. He'd get picked up by a lot of teams. So it's not like it's going to be a situation where like we're not very deep on the defensive line. We're very deep on the defensive line. Okay, even at our defensive ends, we played without Chase Young all year, and our defensive ends, we didn't seem like we actually lacked not like it didn't seem like it drastically hurt us. It did hurt us. He's a great player, but it didn't drastically hurt us like it should have hurt us. It should have been like a glaring weakness on our defense, but we had guys play well. We had guys step up and play very well in his absence. Okay, so that's what I would do, and then we just got to get a decent linebacker. Get a decent linebacker to play behind this defensive line. And I think we're in a situation where we're going to do very well when it comes to defense. So I'm actually starting the mock draft right now. I really wish I could show you. I'm so kind of irate with it. Now, like I said, I want to trade back in the first round. I'm going to start the draft and get to my pick. We have the 16th overall pick. Now, I actually prefer the trade back, like I said. So I'm going to see if there's any trade back scenarios. But like I said, I think Washington should trade back. Like, for example, the first trade available to me is trade back to 21. And can I pick up some more draft picks with the Chargers? It's trade back with the Chargers and pick up. So swap 16 for 21. And then we could pick up another, I think that's the third round pick and a fourth round pick. I think that's actually, I'd like a second. But it's like a 54% chance of getting it done, and I'd rather just not. I'd rather get some later third and fourth. Ron's proven to actually be able to draft pretty well in third and fourth round, so going back a couple picks is not a big deal to me. So let's keep the draft going. So now we're drafting at 21, and I'm actually going to see if there's any more trades to go back just one more time. I really wish I could show you this, guys. But by the way, I haven't shouted this out yet. If you have not, please subscribe to me on Twitter or follow me on Twitter. It's Commander J Plank. Follow me on Twitter, and yeah, I post a lot of stuff about Washington. I post a lot of my videos. I share them there. I'm actually starting to do a lot more shorts now, so you get access to that content. And we got a trade back scenario with the best case scenario is actually the Titans or Texans. We could trade back. And we can probably we can get a handful of picks. I'm not going to trade back anymore. I'm just going to take the pick at 16. So pick at 16. I want to look for a corner. Okay, cornerback Cam Smith. I actually think Joey Porter Jr. will be a better option for us. So that is the cornerback that I'm going to take. So I'm taking Joey Porter Jr. with the 21st overall pick in the draft. So we trade back a few spots and we accumulated some extra picks. So this we should get linebackers. Now it shows here that there's actually another cornerback available. Eli Ricks There's also Emmanuel Forbes. Both of them are not bad options. They both played in the SEC. They're both very talented. They play good receivers. But like I said, we need to get some linebackers. So I'm going to go with from Iowa. I'm going to draft Jack Campbell. And really, I'm not doing a deep dive into like players here. This is not what this is about. I'm just doing a scenario of what we should get. But we have good tight ends, so I'm not super things that we need for our team. And and there's no trade backs at number 85. Number 85, that's third round, yeah. So number 85, we actually have a couple third round picks. So by the way, so 85, like I said, I think we should get another linebacker. But here's what's available. Here's the top rank. So I'm just going off rank here. You have a running back in Tank Bigsby, yeah, Tank Bigsby. Cedric Tillman, Isaac. I don't think we need an end. Maybe we do. Maybe that's a plan for the future because we're not going to re-sign Montez Sweat. Maybe. But I think you go with another linebacker. There's Noah Sewell. We need linebackers. We need to get linebackers in droves. So then we get him, and I think after that you just go offensive line. You got to go offensive line, get some depth, unless there's a really good player available. So you have safety available. Ron likes his safeties. So we got a lot, but you have a guard right here, right available to us. If we wanted to take DI, yeah, so DI was. So defensive line, we could take Kobe Turner right there, but like again, we're stacked on defense. So we're stacked pretty much on defense when it comes to our defensive line. So I think we take Andrew Voorhees. I wonder if he's in relation to Jason Voorhees. So we draft him, and so that gives us a guard that we can use to back up and develop. By the way, if you're new to watching, there's 4 people watching right now. If you've just jumped on or whatever, comment down below any questions you have about Washington. I'm going to answer a whole bunch of questions. So now we're at 118. So you're at a position where we can get a tight end, we can get another guard. I think it's a perfect spot right here potentially to grab another tight end. But we have 4 on the roster right now, and that's if we cut Logan Thomas. So I don't know if we need to. Maybe draft another corner here. It's possible. But where we're at right now with the draft picks, I think we need to draft a tight end or another guard. But I'll just take tight end because it's the best available player right now. And that's Cade Stover from Ohio. And then in the 124th pick, there's another cornerback available. There's receivers. And I think cornerback would be the best option right there. So get another corner, or you can get an end. Colby Wooden as an end wouldn't be bad. But I'm going to go cornerback right there. And I know you're not seeing this, and I do apologize. I really wanted to show everyone all this stuff. I want you guys to see what the spot tracker says. So like I said, I only did 4 rounds. I did trade back. So that gave us 2 extra picks. And what this is going to give us is it fills all Washington's holes that we had. So all the holes Washington's has offensive line and like a one to take at that spot because it gives us the ability to he can play the corner spot and he can eventually tell. And like I said, you don't have to. The thing about our defensive line, like look at the last game this year. I'm just giving you an example. I like Khaleke Hudson, but Khaleke Hudson is not like our top tiered linebacker. He's not like but he looks good behind our defensive line. Okay. Jamin Davis has been able to develop pretty well because he's behind our defensive line. Okay. So there's definitely benefits to having to having a good defensive line it makes our linebackers look better and they can actually just roam and play better. And getting 2 linebackers, maybe one of the 2 of these hits, maybe none of them hit, but at least you're getting yourself some depth so that you're not playing John Ball. I never want to see John Bostic back in a Commander's jersey. I swear to God. I don't want to see him in a Commander jersey at all. Okay. Anyone on? There's 3 people on now. Send me a question, guys. Send me some questions. Please and thank you. I'd really enjoy it. Okay, send me some questions about ownership, about anything with the coaching staff, who I think offensive coordinator would be. I might answer that eventually, but I want to get your guys' input. I want people joining in here. All right. But that's what I think Washington should do. I think Washington should be cornerback first, linebacker, and then fill in the defensive line and maybe another cornerback position there. But that's what I think Washington should do. All right. What else do I want to go over? So looking at Washington when it comes to the owner kind of sounds sour, but I don't like the commander name. I don't. Okay, it was a cheap rebuild at to say it nicely, it was a cheap rebuild. Um, the rebuild was made to be the cheapest rebuild possible. Probably Snyder like maybe like $10 to $15 million at most. It was a cheap rebuild with a cheap name that no one wants. So yeah, I'm not super happy about it. That's not what I want when it comes to my offensive my owner and my team name. I'm still holding out hope that someone buys the team and makes the Red Wolves. And I'm actually just going to close out of this since no one's on. I hate them. We used to be a proud, fun franchise. Now, winning franchise. No people love playing here, and now no one gives a crap about this franchise. And Dan Snyder is the main reason for. He's the main culprit for all that. What I also would like to see is for offensive coordinator. So here's the thing about offensive coordinator. Everyone keeps saying Eric Bieniemy, and I don't have any issue with Eric Bieniemy. But what we got to kind of think here is what's your thoughts on the whole Eric Bieniemy? Oh, good timing. So Eric Bieniemy. Here's my thoughts on Eric Bieniemy. I don't dislike the Eric Bieniemy hire. Here's the only it's not really a problem. It's just kind of like a concern I have is when it comes to Eric Bieniemy, and I'm going to slide this back over here. So I have two monitors, and I moved it over so I could look through like the salary cap and spot track things like that. So Eric Bieniemy, here's the problem I have with Eric Bieniemy is not a problem with him per se. It's more of a problem of like the quarterback. So we have a young quarterback, and the reason why like I would hesitant of hiring Eric Bieniemy is because if we have a young quarterback, we should want to hire someone that knows the offense we have and is very similar, just so his development can continue to develop rather than resetting his development back and learning a brand new offense. It's the only hesitation I have on Eric Bieniemy, because if Eric Bieniemy come in and run like pretty much hand the playbook, like, can you understand this verbiage? Yeah, absolutely. All the verbiage will stay the same. I'm just going to run variations of plays, but all the verbiage will stay the same. Perfectly fine. Get Eric Bieniemy in here. Um, that'd be perfectly fine with that. No problems at all. 100% perfectly fine with that. But I don't know if Eric Bieniemy is going to come in and do that. And if we're going to bring him in, it's going to be completely different offense, completely different terminology that Sam Howell's going to have to regress back to learn it and then build back up again. And then we got a whole offseason of him learning a whole new offense rather than a whole offseason of him, progressing and getting better at other things and get next level shit. So, pardon my French. So, so that's a good question, and he was kind of like on point with me. I like I said, I don't have any issue with Eric Bieniemy, but my cause for pause is he going to run his own offense, or is he going to bring in an offense for us? Is he going to bring in is he going to assimilate to our offense and use our terminology? Is that going to be the case? So if that is the case, then great. And then yeah, bring him on, hire him today. Don't let him finish the Super Bowl and then hire him. Like as soon as the game's over, hire him. But yeah, that's more or less what I'm getting at with that. Any other questions? I only have one on the stream right now. It is what it is. But I really wish Dan Snyder would sell the team. He says he's not going to sell it to at least get 7 million, which more power to him. I thought honestly we might get up to 8 million. Might be a bidding war for it. There's been rumor that he might only sell a portion, which if he does that, he's freaking stupid. Get rid of the whole thing. Greedy idiot. Get rid of the whole thing. You don't need the whole thing. No one wants you in NFL. Get out. And I hope it's what I think it is. I think it's someone's got dirt on them and they're saying, hey, if you don't leave, we're going to make you leave. And then you get less money. So I really think that's what happened. I think a bunch of owners like cornered him and said, hey, we got all this dirt on you, and we're going to convince everyone else to force you to sell your team. So we're going to give you a chance. If you sell your team first, you'll get more money from it. But if you sell your team afterwards, like after we've decided like to force you, you're going to get less money for your team. Your team is less valued then. It's basically what I think happened. I think it was kind of like I would say like a fix, maybe. I don't know how you want to put it, but whatever they did is great because as soon as he sells the team, I'm going to be very ecstatic. I'm sure everyone in our fan base will be ecstatic. So, any more questions? I think his offseason gonna be it's very basic, and Ron and everyone made a stink that he can go to the Senior Bowl. Who the hell cares if he goes to the Senior Bowl? I don't care if he goes to the Senior Bowl. Most players will pump up and play well in the Senior Bowl and then be nothing. Like you have if you played for 4 years in college, it is insulting that if we assume that the only game watching that Ron is going to have on a player he's drafted is just the Senior Bowl, then like I don't assume that. I assume he's going to watch every game he probably ever played. He's probably getting a combination of plays he did well, plays he didn't do well, and where he needs improvement, and can we deal with that improvement? And is that something we're going to deal with? So, yeah, I don't have any issue with Ron not going to the Senior Bowl. I guarantee you, Ron is he's going to do his research. It's kind of on a hot seat. It's his 4th year. I think we are going to have a good 4th year. Actually, I think this year's going to be a little bit of a tougher schedule compared to last year, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I think we're going to be able to do that. So, any other questions? If you're on the live stream, say hi and then ask a question. I'm trying to think of anything else to talk about. I didn't have any issue, like I said, with Ron doing that. Do I think we need to sign Taylor Heineke? That's a question that I've seen on Twitter. If the price is right, sure. I'm not giving him more than $4 million. 3.5 is 3 to 3.5 is my comfortable area. Now, this is the NFL. Your lifespan as a player is your playing time as a player is very short. So I totally don't hold it against Taylor Heineke if he wants to go somewhere else and get a fatter paycheck. But if we're going to resign him, I'm not spending more than $4 million is like my max. Okay, $4 million is like my max, and I think 3.5 is a good number. When he got re-signed by us, when he got signed for 2 years, he got $2 million a year. This is almost doubling what he's been making. He's not going to be starting. Like before, he was a potential starter, and he was definitely playing a lot of minutes. This will not be him being a starter. This will be him being partial. He's going to be a backup. He's basically signed to be a backup. When we signed Taylor Heineke before, he was signed to be a potential starter, but a backup, but with potentiality to be a starter. So, but the most I'd spend is $4 million. I wouldn't spend 3.5 would be my sweet spot, between 3 and 3.5. But 3.5 is my sweet spot. I think it's fair. I think he's earned that. I think he's got a winning record as a Washington Commanders a quarterback. There's not a lot of players except like Alex Smith, but not a lot of players in the last few years can say that. So, we got 3 people on here. Any other questions? I'm trying to think of some more stuff. I'm looking through my phone for like more topics on Twitter that I can throw out here. All right, I'm messaging my buddy here. Trying to think of anything else to talk about. By the way, I got this hat for Christmas. It's actually a flat bill. I hate flat bill hats. I hate them. And my hair looks horrible right now. It is what it is. I'll just hold it that way. It's fine. But I put it in a cup of water, and if you ever want to like turn a flat bill hat into a curved bill hat, kinda, you put in a cup of water and leave it overnight. It will, and then dry it out. It'll pretty much stay kind of like a curved bill, but it looks really weird. But it's comfortable, and I like this hat. It was got for me for Christmas, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I am wearing my Chase Young shirt. So, any more questions? I'll give about if we get having questions, I'll answer questions all night. But someone throw a question in the chat. Anything about any player, if we should resign this person. Oh, I did get asked earlier about Cam Sims. I like Cam Sims, and I hope we re-sign him, but the money's got to be right. For a player, I like him. Don't get me wrong. He plays hard. He's definitely like a likable guy. but he's not worth more than like a couple million. That's the problem with him. He's not going to cost more than a couple million. So like maybe 2 million a year, I would be okay with that. But he's like for a fifth string receiver, he's great. But none of our quarterbacks seem to use him right. But whenever he's thrown to, he's always like, he pretty much always catches the ball for the most part. He's always reliable in that regard, but it's just not used very well. So maybe that's the quarterback situation. Maybe that's offensive coordinator. Could be a couple of those things. I keep bumping my table. If you're watching the camera, I keep bumping my table. So yeah, I Cam Sims. I kind of hope we resign him, but my main priority is to re-sign Deron Payne and extend Cameron Curl. So the guys I want to get back on this roster, that I like Cole Holcomb. The money's got to be right. Money's got to be right. Maybe we get lucky and Deron Payne gives us a hometown discount, gives us a couple $1 million more, so we can sign Cole Holcomb. Now, what's beneficial about Cole Holcomb is we could potentially get him back pretty cheap because he's been injured the last 2 seasons, and no one's going to give him a massive contract. And he knows our offense. He knows our defense. He's familiar with it. So Cole Holcomb would be one that I wouldn't mind signing back, but not for no big ass deal. Maybe a 1 year prove it deal on like a decent amount of money, like a couple million, but not a big amount of money. I wouldn't do that. That's not something I would do. I'm trying to think anyone else we're letting go this year. I'm trying to think of anyone else. Can't think of anyone else. I don't know if you heard it earlier. I talked about, so if you're new on the stream, I talked about players we need to cut for cap space, who we should sign. My friend just messaged me. He says, asked me if you had any questions. You hit on everything I think we need to do. I think a good free agent would get to be a right tackle. Okay. Mike from San Francisco and leave Leno at left tackle. That would be a good fail safe. I say I don't agree with that. I think Leno was a liability at left tackle. Like look at the reason, one of the reasons why we lost the Giants game is Leno could not block third, what's his name? I can't think of his name. The defensive end. I can't think of his name right now. Thornton? No, it's not Thornton. Trebo? Whatever his name was. I'll find it. Defensive ends for New York Giants. Defensive ends for the New York Giants. American football defensive ends. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and load this up real quick. If you have a question, throw it in the chat. There's 5 on here now. I'm trying. I can't think of his name right now. Shoot. If you know the name, throw it in the chat. It gives us a T. It's like I can't think of his name right now. I can't believe I can't think of his freaking name. I don't like the guy. He's the one that did that after the guy's like backs like going out. He's like was like celebrating and stuff. I don't like the guy at all. Left defensive end. What is his stupid name? Maybe he's a linebacker. Is he classified as a linebacker? No, I don't know. I can't find him. But he played for the Giants. I cannot think of his name right now. Shoot. Oh, I got the roster now. Hold on. Give me 2 more seconds. I will have this thing. Maybe not. Dang, they don't have him on here. Thibodeau. That's his name. Sorry, Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau. He could. Charles Leno couldn't. Or Charles Leno could not block him. Could not block him at all. That's why I say move him to the right tackle. I think he'd be better at right tackle. I think he moves better to his right anyway. And he's a decent left tackle. Don't get me wrong, but he'd be a better right tackle. And we need to get the best offensive line we can get a tackle, Trent Williams type player. That's what we need. So I get like signing like a right tackle and leaving Charles. I get why you might want to do that. I just personally wouldn't do that. I would go swing for the fences and try to get Orlando Brown. And spend as much money as we need to. Okay, that's just me though. But any other questions anyone has? Darnell and Jay, I know you guys got some questions rattling around in there. I got the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I hope those. I can't stand. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate them with a passion. I moved to Philadelphia the day after they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and I dreaded the 6 months I was there. Just the most unruly, worthless fans I've ever been around. And I live in Pittsburgh, and they're not much better. Actually, they're way better. Let me rephrase that. I thought they were horrible, and then I moved to Philly, and I'm like, okay, Pittsburgh fans, not so bad. They're not as bad as I thought. If I'm being completely honest, I used to think Pittsburgh was actually a dirty city. Go to Philly. It's way worse, way worse. So Philadelphia makes you appreciate where you're from, and uh, 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 to just appreciate other things. So, all right. I'm gonna give about I'll go 5 minutes without a question. I think I'll just wrap this up. But I would like some more questions about whatever it is. Edmonds from Buffalo would be nice. No way we could afford him. I agree. So a friend of mine just messaged me and he said, "Do I'll answer Jay's because it's in the chat first. Do you think Bobby McCain is underrated? Um, I think I think he's rated about right where he should be. I think he has very good versatility. Like he was actually very good in the slot for us this year, and he's a decent player. I don't think he's like he is not better than Cameron Curl. He's not better than Derek Forrest. I think we figured that out this year. His role is being good enough to his role that is he's good enough to kind of play both of those, like the strong and the free, but he can also play slot, which is what he actually did very good for us this year. So that's why whenever I was going through cuts, I did not factor in Bobby McCain. I said we could cut him, but I wouldn't cut him. I think his versatility, Jack Del Rio did a great job of utilizing skill sets specifically, kind of like the way, and I'm not making this drastic comparison. One of the ways that the Patriots have always been successful is Bill Belichick finds a way, like, if you're good at this one thing, we're going to get you good at this one thing, and you're going to do this one thing, and that's when we scheme you to do this one thing really well, and you'll be successful at that. That's kind of what Jack Del Rio did last year. He had he played like most of the season with like maybe one good linebacker, not great. Jim Davis is getting better, but he's not great yet. And then bums, and then decent secondary guys, and with smoke and mirrors made that defense very effective. They were a top 8 defense without Chase Young. Did have Cole Holcomb most of the year. They lost Fedarian Mathis in the first game of the season. Okay, they lost who was supposed to be the number one corner in William Jackson the third. Just played great, and they didn't even have Cam Curl for a good portion of the season, and it was still top 8 defense. Like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah, I think Bobby McCain is. I do think he's a little underrated just because they don't. I think his versatility is underrated. I think he's able to do a lot of things, and they found out he's very good at covering. Let's afford him and Payne. I mean, you could just got to cut some other players, but I don't think you can afford Edmonds and Payne. I'd rather have Payne and just draft a linebacker. I know that sounds like crazy. Like, would you rather not have it? I would love to have Edmonds. I would love to have it. I would love to have Edmonds. I think every team would love to have Edmonds, but I'd rather have Payne. He knows our system. It's been working for us. If we can repeat what we did this year, next year, and we just have a little bit better offense, we don't have to have a great, just maybe a top 20 offense rather than like a top, like a bottom 5 offense or whatever. If we just are a top 20 offense, we will have success. If we'd have been a top 20 offense this year, we'd have won 10 games. Okay, we'd have easily won 10 games. Okay, but we weren't a top 20 offense. We were bottom 5 offense consistently when it comes to a lot of different metrics. Okay, Other than just need a good offensive coordinator. Other than that, just need a good offensive coordinator. Don't see us getting Bieniemy. Like I said, I don't mind us getting Bieniemy. The only concern I have about Bieniemy is he's going to come in and try to implement his own offense, or can he be malleable a little bit and maybe come in and implement his offense, but the terminology be the same, so that we're not spending an off season with Sam Howell learning a new offense. He can kind of just slide into that role, use the same terminology, and then Sam Howell grows from that very quickly. So that's my only issue with Bieniemy. If he can modify his offense to fit the terminology that Sam Howell already knows, and we're not having to teach him a new offense, he's just gonna grow from there. I'm perfectly overly stoked about a new owner, and maybe I'm excited about a new name. That might be it too, because I love my team, but I do not like the Commander's name. I think it's the lamest name. I can't think of a team in the NFL that has a lamer name than ours right now. I'm trying to think here, except for the Eagles, of course. That's one of the worst names ever. But yeah, any other questions? We got some people watching. So, any other questions anyone has? These are good questions. I like them. Take another drink. Delicious. If I haven't already, please subscribe. Please subscribe to this channel. Like I said, I'm starting doing more shorts. I'm probably gonna do some shorts about like drafts and a little bit more of the content that we had here, but maybe it's a little more specific on like the draft and maybe free agency and how the money lines up a little bit better. And I do again, if you're on here, I do apologize. I did plan 100% plan on having a great background, my picture in the corner, and have like all the sites I was going to show, like what we need to do, how much the money adds up, all that stuff. But my program I used was not cooperating with me. So I do apologize. And I had higher expectations for the content I was going to show you for this. And I made a mistake of making the wrong link. So I probably have people click on the other link. Like, it's not loading. It's not loading. So, I think we're in this at 10:30. So if you have some questions, throw it in there. If we have questions going through over 10:30, that's fine. But I think I'm gonna cut it off. I don't get any questions from now until 10:30. All right. Oh, by the way, if you like video games, I do have a gaming channel. It's don't laugh. I like to play Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon content on there. There's a lot of older games on there. Battle for Middle Earth. I'm probably gonna play some other old school games, maybe Roller Coaster Tycoon, stuff like that. If you are a gamer, it is a gaming channel. There's also a lot of shorts on there from Battlefield 1943, Rocket League. What other games on there? Might put Madden on there. I haven't decided yet. I have a lot of highlights from Madden that I can put on there. So it's just called JD's Nerdverse. It's actually the first comment on the video. I wanted to make sure the sound was working and the text was working, so I messaged myself on my on my other YouTube channel. And any more questions? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything else I can show off. Oh, got this for Christmas. I guess I can show this off. And it kind of shows you how little I drank. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet. I got this at Christmas. So it shows you how little I actually drink. Got about 4 more minutes. Give an option for another question. And for all of our sakes, being the fact we're all Commander fans, I really don't want the Eagles win tomorrow. I really don't. Give me put in the chat. What are you eating for the Super Bowl? I get the same thing every year. Get Buffalo Wild Wings. I get wings. My wife gets boneless wings, and she gets a stromboli from a place near us called Christopher's. I might do another one of these in like 2 weeks from now. Mainly I can't really do this unless my wife's out of town. My wife goes out of town and takes the kids with her. So I have a little bit of time to myself and I can actually do some things like this. She does not like me doing this when she's home. We have 2 kids and we don't get to spend a lot of time together when we are. So I may do another one of these in 2 weeks. I'll schedule it properly. I'm not gonna do what I did this time. I'll schedule it properly and I'll give a little bit more ahead of time. Who do I think will win the MVP of Super Bowl? I think it's going to be Mahomes. I think Mahomes will win it. I think Andy Reid is that good a coach that he's going to find a way. What he's going to do, he's going to find a way to make Jalen Hurts beat him with his arm. And I think that's going to be the downfall of the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I hope it is the downfall of the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Let me rephrase that. But I never actually mentioned this part. One of the biggest ways to win in the NFL is you get a rookie quarterback and you get a good team around him and you win in that 5 or 4 year window that you're paying that rookie quarterback salary. If you look at like the last 10 Super Bowls, the last 20 Super Bowls, it's a common trend. Look at last year's Super Bowl. Last year's Super Bowl, you had the Bengals rookie quarterback, okay, Joe Burrow on a rookie deal, and then you had it's one of the two. It's either rookie deal or you have a quarterback who's like middle, like 15, maybe between 10 and $20 million, and they're dropped onto a pretty good team. Matt Stafford was like that. And I was gonna say Matt Stafford made a lot of money. A lot of his money was actually paid by the Lions last year. So I think it was only like 10 or 15 million was actually paid by the Rams. That's how they were able to trade for him, and the team was so good built around him. So that's last year. The year before that was what was it? Was it the Buccaneers and the Buccaneers and the Chiefs? I think is what it was. So the Buccaneers and the Chiefs, kind of the same thing. I'm reading it home. I've Terry McLaurin jersey. Me too, Jay. I'll be celebrating like crazy. So look at last year's 2 years ago Super Bowl when it came to the Buccaneers. Tom Brady not taking top dollar is between 10 to 20 million a year, and then you look at who he played in the Super Bowl. That was the Chiefs on you know on Mahomes' rookie deal. Go back another one. Mahomes versus the 49ers. Rookie deal for him. Jimmy Garoppolo is like a mid-level quarterback cost. Okay. You go back, as you go back, you're going to find Joe Flacco before he got paid, Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger, Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl, before he got paid. So on and so forth. So if they got the top dollar, top line money, a lot of quarterbacks will win the Super Bowl with a good team around them, and then they have to get paid, and then they can no longer afford them on the rest of their deal. So I think that's the formula. I think Washington actually has that formula very nicely right now. We have Sam Howell, who's on a rookie deal. He's on one of the best rookie deals. Like most of them are like first round picks. This guy's a 5th rounder, so his money is like garbage. But his money's garbage, so that means we can pay and build a very good team around him. Okay. If you're just joining in or chiming in, it's going for an hour and 20 minutes. We talked about draft. If you have any questions about the draft, I can reiterate them. If you have any questions about free agents, who we should cut, who we should sign, what cap space, whatever case may be, you can ask them in the chat. There's 7 people on right now. I appreciate all 7 of you joining on. Comment put the comment section below What do you think? Any questions? Any questions that you have at all, or just say hi? I'll say hi back. Um, I'll keep this going as long as we have people asking questions. So that's where we're at with it right now. I'm messaging a friend of mine. He's not able to. He's doing it via phone, so he's not able to send messages via chat. So he's just messaging me questions, and I'm hoping to get some more out of him. All right. That's all I want to check. I want to check Twitter. There we go. Any more questions? Don't be shy. And yeah, I would love, love. I actually have, I have a Terry McLaurin jersey. It's the last Redskins jersey I have. So I have 3 jerseys, and no one, don't crucify me for this one. First one I have is a Sean Taylor jersey, which I'll never get rid of. It's my favorite jersey. Second one I have is I actually bought, and I had an RG3 jersey. I no longer have an RG3 jersey, but I had one at one point. I also have an Alex Smith Chiefs jersey. Don't at me. Don't come at me with that. I was rooting for the Chiefs whenever they played the Patriots a couple years ago when Alex Smith was quarterback. And I ordered the shirt to wear to like a party, hoping that they would win. It didn't, but I hang on to it. And it actually came in handy today. I wore it to work today because we're allowed to wear sports shirts on Saturdays. So it came in handy. But and the last one I have is I bought a Terry McLaurin shirt when we like shortly after we drafted him. So shortly after in the middle of his like rookie season. So those are the 4 jerseys that I have. Well, football. I have a ton of basketball jerseys. I have like Dirk Nowitzki, Gilbert Arenas, Antoine Jameson, Caron Butler. I have a Michael Jordan jersey. What else? I have Kevin Durant. I don't have LeBron. I don't like LeBron. I think maybe I might have Steph Curry jersey. So those are the ones that I have there. Don't have Kobe though. I should probably get a Kobe jersey, but I don't have Kobe. All right. Any more questions? No more questions. I'm glad everyone decided to spend their Saturday night and join me talking about a little bit of football. Like I said, I'm going to have it figured out, and the next one I do, will have a lot more content. I honestly had every intention of showing you how much cap space we have, what we gain when we cut people, how much we can spend on certain players, and then what we could potentially draft in this draft. So yeah. I don't think I have anything else to add. It is now 10:30. I'll give one more minute for any more questions, and then I'm gonna bounce. It's been fun though. I really do appreciate everyone taking their Saturday night and spent. Appreciate you too, Jay. Appreciate you too. Yeah, I'm back. I'm gonna push out content like a crazy person. I'm gonna put more shorts. I'm gonna put shorts on the table. I'm gonna put no that sounds weird. I'm gonna put shorts out there, like on YouTube shorts. I'm also going to be back to like doing analysis videos. And basically I have a routine. This is my routine. It's the craziest routine. You gotta look at me and think, JD, why are you doing that? So I like making content. So I wake up at 5 a.m, shower and get dressed for work. And then while I'm like dressed for work, while I'm dressed for work, I have about 2 hours between like 5, roughly quarter after 5 after I shower and get dressed, to like 7, to where I work on my YouTube content for my other channel. Like I said, it's gaming. It may not be any interest to you, but a subscribe doesn't hurt. But JD's Nerdverse is what it is. And I got a nice question from my friend Michael. It said, let Heineke test the market. If you can resign him if you can sign him as a backup, sign Payne and tag him. If he walks, then you might have to see what a 16 at 16 for defensive tackle, such as Brian Breesy. Then look at corner. We are gonna get to a point where we can't sign everyone. I guess they can make the cap work if they guarantee the money is big to save cap money. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Mike. I think you can't pay everyone. I mean, if the cap keeps going up almost $20 million extra every year, I guess you might be able to. I don't know, but I don't think we can. Um, I think of the four defensive linemen we have, I don't think Montez Sweat is going to get re-signed. I think that's one we're going to pass on. He hasn't had, at least John Allen, John Payne have had Pro Bowl caliber seasons. So has Chase Young. He's had at least one Pro Bowl caliber season. I don't think Montez Sweat has had. He's had some great moments. He's had some very good games, and he's definitely a valued member of the defense. But he just not has not had what I would say is that oh wow like year whatever we'll call it. So I think he's still lingering in that way. I guess is the best way to put it. But I would not spend a first round pick on a defensive tackle if we don't get Drawn Paynes. First off, we're getting them signed one way or another. Either A, we're going to sign him, or B, we're going to tag him. He's not going anywhere without that. And if someone wants him, they can. Like there's rumors out there that someone might offer like a early second rounder or maybe even a late first to trade for him. If he doesn't want to resign, tag him and trade him and get something for him. None of this. Washington has this habit of having like this bullshit where they just let guys walk when you can get value for them. If he's not going to sign with us, then you tag him and let the open market like pay for him. Take a pick for him. Take a second. I would be okay if he's not going to play with us after next year. Take a second rounder. That second rounder can be what can be used to replace Drawn Payne. But I don't think we're gonna. If we lose Drawn Payne, is that really like I just said a while ago? We have a decent amount of depth on the defensive line. We got John Allen, we got Ridgeway, we got Fedarian Mathis to be back this year. We probably have other players like Casey Toohill. We have a bunch of other players that we can use in that situation. So I'm not going to spend another high draft pick on the defensive line. So as much as that's something I've kind of had a gripe at for years. So we spent, what was it, like 5 straight years drafting defensive linemen. We went John Allen, which is worth it. So don't get me wrong. It's not like it's not worth it. But we spent John Allen, Drawn Payne, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Jamin Davis. 5 years in a row on the defense. Okay. We don't want to spend another first round pick on the defense. We spent a second rounder last year on the defense. Okay. I wouldn't mind a second rounder this year on the defense. Yeah, he disagreed with me. You need to keep Curl. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Keep Curl. 100%. Cam Curl needs your signed. Getting about $12.5 million a year will probably be the deal. He won't get $20 million. His dad wants $20 million for him. But yeah. So yeah, I'm not spending another high draft pick in the first round on the defensive line. I'm okay with drafting a first round corner because that's what we really need. That's a need we have right now. The biggest need is offensive line, and if we sign someone in free agency, we don't have to draft that. But if we don't sign one in free agency, we can get like a Marcus Peters at corner, and we can probably sign a linebacker. Excellent. Got me on it now. Sports track. Sports track again for salaries for I didn't look at linebackers, so I'm gonna look at linebackers really quick. Okay, well, where is it? On the beach. I'm for him. I don't care if he takes it like personal. I don't care if he gets mad about it. He is not walking out the building without something being compensated to us. That's just the way I personally feel about it. If I'm being bluntly honest. So contracts, free agents. There we go. So let me see if I didn't actually look at see if there's linebackers on the market right now that we can get. So if we had to go the route where we didn't want to get, there's not a left tackle out there we can sign, and we're going to try to draft one. What should we look at for linebackers? So let me look at linebacker real quick. So if that is the case, and we sign and trade Jerron Payne, we also don't have to worry about the money to sign trade Jerron Payne. We have a lot of cap space if that's the case. That's a lot of freaking cap space. Let's see who we got here. Nicholas Morrow, not bad. Not a lot here. Nothing that like jumps off the screen at me. And then inside linebacker, let's check that out. Levante David, he's old though. Devin Bush, that's the one I would get. So if you want like a backup option that I would say Washington should go for, instead of like if like say like Troy Brown is just not available, get Marcus Peters, get Devin Bush. Devin Bush would make a great addition to our defense. I know Tremaine Edmonds is definitely like, but Devin Bush is only going to cost about on the market. He says it should get about $3 million a year. That's insane. So if we did the free agency thing that I've suggested, and we spent $20 million, and we didn't spend $20 million on like Antonio or Orlando Brown, and we decided to go with Peters is like $10 million. Okay, we've already re-signed other guys, but if we look at linebacker, what is Antoine Walker Jr. going to cost? Anthony Walker Jr. 4.4 million. That's not horrible either. There's a couple. There's actually not bad options out there if you're looking for this. Now, Tremaine Edmonds is going to cost money. 11 million. Actually, that's not too bad either. That's not horrible. So that might actually be the better option where you get two positions filled with a more reliable way where free agents have proven themselves. And then you draft an offensive lineman. I still think offensive lineman is more your priority for the fact that you could draft someone they're a bust and you spend all year with Sam Howell running around like with his head cut off trying not to get sacked all the time. So that's my main concern about drafting a different left tackle. We have linebackers and we have corners that can play right now if we draft a corner that needs a little bit more time to develop or just isn't right when they need to be when we draft them. Don't exactly have a left tackle, in my opinion. Maybe you think Charles Leno Jr. Is a viable option. I don't think he's that great an option. I think he should be a right tackle. I think that's where he'd probably be better. So there are some linebackers that we can get. Devin Bush is one that I've heard, and I think Devin Bush would be the perfect one to get. He played alongside Jamin Davis pretty well. If we re-sign Holcomb, play alongside him very well too. We'd actually have three pretty decent linebackers. So, is there any more questions in the chat? Got 5 people on. Any more questions? I'll give it about 2 more minutes. Pardon me. I have been up since 5 a.m. So, all right. Well, it's 10:40. I thank everyone for being on. I think I'm going to jump off here. I got one more question. What would Van Der Esch cost from Dallas? That dude always had good games against us. Well, Van Der Esch, is Van Der Esch a free agent? Mike, if you're watching this, I don't think Van Der Esch is a free agent this year. Like they re-signed him last year. He was a free agent last year. They re-signed him. I don't think he's a free agent this year. Maybe he's an outside linebacker. Hold that thought. I may be wrong. I'm looking at inside linebackers. Yeah, I don't think he's a free agent this year. Nick Van Noy is a free agent. I don't think Leighton Van Der Esch is. I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure. It says on this website he's not. You know, I got a great idea. I'll just go to that cap website and we'll see how long this contract is. Over the cap. Dallas. Where the heck's Dallas? Oh, it's Cowboys. I'll look for C for Cowboys. Oh yeah, Dallas actually is in like kind of cap hell right now. They're like negative $6 million unless they cut someone. All right, let me try. Let me try to find Van Der Esch. Huh. You might be right. He's not on here, but he's also not on the other website that shows me all the free agents. That's interesting. Oh, there he is. Unrestricted free agent. Yeah, like Van Der Esch is not a. That's very weird though, because he's not showing in the other one that shows me all the free agents. That's very weird though. Very weird indeed. But yeah, he is not he is a free agent. You're not wrong. I mean, his last year with Dallas, he only made like $2 million. So I mean, he's a decent player. I mean, I wouldn't hate him if he's going to cost $2 million. I wouldn't hate having him at all. He's a solid player and he could do well for us. I want to replace the position with someone who I know is going to like be could be a long term solution, like 4 or 5 year solution. I don't know, but I wouldn't hate Van Der Esch either. He always seems to give us problems. You're not wrong. He plays very good against Washington. But all right, I'm going to call it. It is almost 11 o'clock at night. I've been up since 5. I'm gonna go probably get a nice snack and then go to bed. I want to thank everyone for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe, comment, like my videos, whatever, and follow me on Twitter. It's Commander J Plank, and I post stuff about Washington all the time. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I appreciate you stopping in. Tell your friends, and I'm probably gonna have another meeting in about 2 weeks. Probably have a lot. I'm gonna have it figured out of why my computer was not doing the thing I asked it to do earlier today, but I haven't figured out. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good one and hail to the Commanders. See ya.